Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And I'm back with another recap of Zatima. Season 3, Episode 11, Actions and Consequences. So, it starts off with, the cops pulling up to Zach and Fatima's place. And they said, you're wanted. Do we have Zachary Taylor? You're wanted for the murder of Jeremiah Page. And you already know Deja's outside being messy. She's like, no, you arrested the wrong one. You arrested the wrong one. And Fatima was like, we're not here for this crap. Well, I'm not here for your crap. And then Deja tried to tell the police, no, you got the wrong one. It was like, listen, that sounds like a civil matter. Because she busted up all my crap. And they basically took Zach away. And Fatima and Deja still going back and forth at it. And she just basically tell her, listen, Fatima was like, I'm just tired of your crap. And then she ended up going into her house, slamming the door. And then you got Deja, she finally goes into her place. Meanwhile, Belinda's at her place. And she gets a knock on the door. It's Nathan. Basically, she told Nathan, like, you got my rent money because you stole my money. So Nathan was like, no, I don't have it. When I went to go check on him at the hospital, he didn't have it. This was like, what? So Zach beat him up real bad. And she was like, yeah. And he was like, so you didn't pick up the shelf? He was like, she was like, why would I pick up the shelf? You and your friends came in here and tore up my stuff. And he was like, yeah, I know. I was going to come and help you, but, it is what it is. So, basically, Linda kept screaming at Nathan, like, you better have my money. We got to get it. I need my rent money. My landlord don't play that, like, that late money, no stuff. He don't play that. And Nathan was just like, listen, I'm going to get you your money. He's not going to put you up by tomorrow. Like, I'm going to get you your money. So he ended up leaving. And she was just like, after he left, I'm just tired of your crap. Meanwhile, Fatima goes to the precinct to go see if she can get in to see Zach. To no avail. It was like a tight squeeze or whatever the case may be. Meanwhile, Preston comes to the office and Bryce is there and they were just like, well, have you seen Zach? And they was like, no, we haven't. Have you spoken to him? And he was like, since yesterday. Now when I saw Dr. Reed, and I decided to leave so that they could talk and handle their business, whatever the case may be. So then, Bryce was just like, no, Bryce was like, I'm gonna go see where he's at. And then Bryce was like, so should I come with you? He was like, why? So you can make the situation harder than what it is. He was like, right, you know what? Just let me know if you need anything. So Preston leaves. He heads to Zach's place. He goes out the car, goes to knock on the door. Next you know, Deja comes outside. And he's just like, Deja, why are you always here? Why are you never at work? And she was like, well, I work at night. She was, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So she was like, so Zach's not here. And he was like, do you know where he went? And she was like, in jail. Last time I heard, he got arrested for beating up somebody named Jeremiah. And the president was like, oh my God, Jeremiah, that's his brother. And then Deja was like, so he got arrested for beating up his brother. And he was like, President was like, I don't got time for this. Let me just go ahead and go back to my car. And she was like, dang, Zach's a killer. And she was like, do you think I can live here rent free? Now that he's gone and the police about to come back to get his girlfriend. And President was just like, he goes to his car and starts to call somebody. Next he ends up calling Fatima. Meanwhile, Fatima's there. Angela shows up to show her love and support. And they basically talking about like how Zach went down the downward spiral and how he didn't basically justify the means to an end with the way he beat him up. So Angela finally tells Fatima that there's a video circulating and asks if she wanted to see it. She was like, no, I don't. And basically Fatima just telling Angela, like, I wish you would have took our love and stuff into consideration because we would be sitting here now. And she's trying to get a lawyer so that she can go ahead and see him. So she makes a couple of phone calls. Meanwhile, Preston calls her and basically tells Fatima, like, I'm sorry, he's in jail, stuff like that. And then she was like, yeah, I'll just let him know, that you're thinking about it. She was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine. Meanwhile, she's also gets a call from the funeral director. And the director tells her, like, listen, I'm gonna need you to know how long we can hold the body. There's always gonna be more money. And she was like, well, how much it is for a 2-week hold? And he was like, well, it's gonna be a lot more expensive. So he's like, listen, don't you dare talk to me about money. Like, woman's already dead. Like, what more can you do? Okay, she's a dead body, whatever it's gonna be. So then the director was like, okay, how about you just come in when you're in by the place to talk? And she's like, all right, I'll do that and bye. Meanwhile, Nathan heads to the barbershop where Tony and Tyrone are there. Nathan talk about he was at the hospital all night and Tony was calling him, stuff like that, but he wasn't answering. So he was like, look at your phone. He was like, yeah, how long have you really been at the hospital? He was like, 45 minutes. Well, you know, Connie was there all night. She looked a little tired, and Tony was like, yeah, she been looking a lot tired lately. And you're like, I'll go call and check on her later or whatever the case. Meanwhile, Mr. Tyrone comes out the back and was like, listen, y'all heard about what happened to Zach? And he was like, what happened to him? He was like, well, I heard he got arrested for his brother. And he been charged with murder. So that means Nathan didn't stay that long to really figure out what was going on. Because how the fact, if you supposedly stayed there all night, you would have known he got arrested for murder. Yeah, so they told him that, and then they was like, well, there's a video. And Mr. Tyrone showed them the video, and it was like, oh, snap. And then they also got a video of what Zach and Tony got into, and it was just like, oh, snap. Eventually, through the calls that Fatima made, she was able to get a lawyer to get her back there to see Zach. And yeah, Zach was just, he was just in his feelings. I know I left this part out, but once he got to the police precinct, him and that police officer was going back and forth to a point where eventually he was just like, I'm good, and it is what it is. So, you know how they get when they get into that interrogation, when they want to act all cocky and like they ain't scared. But deep down, you know, he was trembling inside. Like, Zach, he may be made for that life, but at the end, he wasn't made for that life. So, Fatima gets in there. The lawyer wants to go make some phone calls, and Fatima basically put it out there that, listen, she's not putting up with no more of his stuff. And he was basically just like, yeah, but you know, I had to protect my family, I had to do what was right for us. And she was like, yeah, but you wouldn't have taken it into our love and consideration. I'm tired of putting up with all your stuff. If you really cared that much, you would have stopped. And all this other stuff, but Zach wasn't really trying to hear that. So she basically told me, I said, we're done. I'm leaving. I can't do this no more. I'm sorry. And he starts thinking like, and he starts crying like that. So you're leaving. And she was just like, I'm sorry, I can't. So she goes to close the door. And he's like, Fatima, Fatima. Meanwhile, she's outside crying. He's out inside crying. He's like, fuck. Like, oh my God, he really messed up a good thing. All because he can't put his pride to the side and like just accept, you know, what happened. Of course, he put his hands on your girl. But at the same time, you're not thinking of it like that. Y'all family regardless. However, he may have treated you, what y'all went through, y'all was still family regardless, and you missing that point. And yeah, oof, what a way to bring back the season. Like, oh my gosh. So, with that being said, bye.